Hello, I'm Darren again. Today's topic comes from some questions around narcissism and gratitude. Questions include: why do narcissists never seem to be pleased? Why do they always seem to be so dissatisfied? And why do they always seem to be so ungrateful? Now, this can be the case in many areas of their lives, be it the workplace, personal relationships, even in society in general. So, in this video, I'll outline why they never seem to be pleased. Well, not for long anyway. Why they have difficulty expressing gratitude, and the different ways they express their dissatisfaction. So if you find this topic to be interesting, please consider subscribing. So to begin with, gratitude would be a natural response to kindness, generosity, even just common decency. It's a way of acknowledging that someone has done something meaningful, even if it's just a simple thank you, if someone holds the door open for us. But to understand why narcissistic people never seem to be grateful, always seem to be in a state of dissatisfaction, can be, firstly, because expressing gratitude might clash with their sense of entitlement. Narcissists have an inflated sense of self-importance. They believe themselves to be entitled to special treatment and attention. The same could be said if they have an exaggerated sense of victimhood. They believe they are entitled to more attention, sympathy, and support than others. Also, narcissistic people lack empathy, so they might not recognize someone's efforts to help them, to make things easier for them. Because they believe they are deserving, they don't see why they should say thank you for something they believe they're entitled to. It's theirs by right. Secondly, narcissistic people don't do humility well, and they have an aversion to vulnerability. So to someone with narcissistic personality, expressing gratitude might feel as if they're showing a sign of weakness or dependence. They might be allowing the other person some kind of empowerment. Now, there can be a fleeting acknowledgement of other people's efforts, but they're generally short-lived and superficial, and probably criticized at a later date as not being good enough. And just on that, there may be times when they do show appreciation, but they withhold it at other times as a form of control and manipulation. And this can lead those closest to them to feel as if they haven't done enough this time, so they increase their efforts. Next, narcissistic people struggle with intimacy. They tend to only really have surface level relationships, so living in a state of disappointment and dissatisfaction can be a way of avoiding closeness and intimacy. In personal relationships, partners are often kept at an emotional arm's length by the narcissistic person's constant complaining and criticizing, and yet they're often led to believe that they are at fault. Now, a narcissist might claim the lack of closeness in the relationship is due to the partner not doing enough, doing it wrong, or not having the right motives for doing it. Some of the ways they keep their partners at an emotional arm's length is saying things like, "It will be better whenever you do this," or "You're less like that," or even "You're nearly there." But they're all just avoidance tactics. Next, narcissistic people tend to have high yet unrealistic and constantly shifting standards and expectations. What they wanted one minute is irrelevant the next, so others can never really keep up. Now, sometimes this can be due to their need for instant gratification, which never lasts. For instance, grandiose narcissists, well, they constantly want more success, admiration, authority over others, even material possessions, but they are rarely satisfied for long. Their dissatisfaction is often vocal and overt, with frequent complaints, harsh criticism, and judgment that things just aren't up to their standards. And this can be seen in their personal relationships and in their careers. They expect and demand perfection from others, which doesn't exist, by the way. And anything or anyone they consider to be less than perfect in that moment is dismissed as not good enough, insufficient, and this can lead to a constant state of dissatisfaction and resentment. With covert narcissism, we often see a sense of unfulfillment that is never really met, and the dissatisfaction tends to manifest as depression and discontentment. No one is seeing them as amazing. No one recognizes their superiority. No one is paying them the special attention they believe they deserve. And no matter how they're treated, they will behave as if they're being treated unfairly. And their dissatisfaction can lead to resentment towards others, often simmering below the surface towards those they perceive as not understanding or appreciating their true worth, even those closest to them. and the resentment and unfulfillment can make them even more difficult to please. Another reason for their lack of gratitude can be how some narcissistic people just find no joy in anything. They tend to have a negative view of the world. Everything and everyone is crap, usually because it's not the way they want it or it's not the way they think it should be. Everything is unfair. They can disregard acts of kindness as being other people's schemes and scams. Good things that happen are either just a fluke or they don't take away this other terrible issue over here. But one way or another, there will always be a negative spin on everything. Their problems are the worst problems ever. No one in the history of the world has ever had it as bad as them. There is nothing to be happy about or grateful for, and these folk are usually referred to as emotional vampires. They just suck all the joy out of life. But regardless of how the narcissism presents, again, due to the sense of entitlement, whenever they receive something, they view it as their due rather than something to be thankful for. And this can be evident in their dismissive or arrogant behavior whenever others offer help or do something nice for them. They can openly belittle the efforts of other people, be dismissive, make it clear that whatever was done is not good enough. They tend to always demonstrate a lack of appreciation. And finally, as hard as it is to please narcissistic people, in contrast, they behave as if everyone should be thankful and show gratitude for anything at all that they do. Narcissistic people have a need for constant validation and admiration. So it's like if they make you a sandwich, it has to be the most amazing sandwich you've ever tasted. No other sandwich will ever come close to it. And they'll remind you for the rest of your days about the amazing sandwich that they once made you. In relationships, they'll treat the partner as if I'm the best you'll ever get, and they will expect the partner to be grateful. Their false sense of self is very heavily dependent on external validation and collusion. They need continuous praise and admiration just to feel good about themselves, and yet they see no reason to reciprocate gratitude for anything, again because they believe they are inherently deserving. But no matter how much validation, praise, gratitude they get, it is never enough. As soon as they receive it, they're already looking for the next source, and this can create a cycle of perpetual dissatisfaction. So in summary, narcissistic people are notorious for being difficult to please. No matter what others do for them, it is never enough. Their constant need for more is driven by their unrealistic expectations and overinflated sense of entitlement, a chronic need for admiration and attention, as well as a fear of emotional intimacy. They are rarely, if ever, grateful for anything and often live a life of frustration, disappointment, and being malcontent. The attention, validation, sense of importance they get from others giving them what they want fades quickly, and they're back to square one, feeling empty and bitter. What pleases them today will not be enough tomorrow. The demands, expectations will all have changed. Also, narcissists tend to project their inner turmoil onto others, blaming external factors for their unhappiness. They believe the problems, the issues, the root of their dissatisfaction always lies outside of themselves. It's never anything to do with them. So, if the problems lie outside of themselves, then so do the solutions. They believe others are responsible for their feelings, their well-being, even their behavior at times. And if they do show gratitude or appreciation, it can be quickly retracted or just forgotten about. They tend to take everything and everyone for granted. Why would they have to be thankful for what they believe is theirs by right? So, that's a brief outline of why narcissistic people never seem to be pleased and rarely show appreciation. As always, if there's anything I've missed, anything you'd like to add, please use the comment section, or some interesting conversations start from these videos. But if you find this topic to be interesting, please consider subscribing, and until next time, thanks for watching.